Welcome everyone to Disability Warriors. My name is Hannah Rashid. I am the host/creator of Disability Warriors. On this podcast, we look at new topics each episode, diving into the struggles disabled people face within those topics, and sharing helpful information and advice to support people with all types of disabilities. Hi everyone, welcome to our introduction to Disability Warriors. Today we are going to talk about who we are, what to expect from future episodes, and we'll be having a fun little Q&A at the end. Let's get started. My name is Hannah, and I'm the creator/host of Disability Warriors. Disability Warriors is a podcast that shares information and advice for disabled people within the UK. Each episode will cover a new topic with interviews and Q&As in relation to all types of disabilities. This podcast is a way for people within the UK to access disability-related information more easily and ask for advice on questions related to accessibility, inclusion, and disability. The overall goal of this podcast is to create a safe space where we can have these important talks about disability and be able to discuss the struggles we go through and how that can really shape a lot of our experiences in certain ways. But this podcast is also about having fun, having a laugh, and connecting with disabled people all around the world as well as in the UK. Now that we have a better understanding of who I am, what Disability Warriors is, and all of our goals for the podcast, I think we can start our fun little Q&A. So I put up a post and a story on our social media platforms asking for any questions people might have about disabilities and if there were any situations they would like some advice with. We did receive a few replies, so let's dive into it. Our first question is, what's the hardest part about being in a wheelchair? This is a great question. From my own personal experience, the hardest part about being in a wheelchair is living in a world where you can never truly be independent. A lot of wheelchair users and people with disabilities may require help with certain daily tasks, and we rely more on certain services. For example, public transport. Such a small amount of public transport is accessible. A lot of the time there are strikes or closures on trains and buses, but when these strikes or closures happen, able-bodied people can just catch an alternative train or bus. However, someone with a disability already has limited travel options, so it becomes a big struggle if all of a sudden the trains aren't running or a certain bus stop is closed. I'll give you all an example. This is from my own personal experience that recently happened. I went out to central London with my sister. I thought it would be all good because I had done the route only a few days prior. But when we got there, the train was announcing that the stop we were getting off on, it was no step-free access, which apparently means the lifts weren't working. And I started to panic because I had to come up with a quick new route before we got to that stop, so we decided to get off a few stops before and change trains to get where we were supposed to go. But when we got off, it turned out that the lift in the other station was also broken. Two of the very few fully accessible stations had their lifts broken. It took some time, but we managed to figure out an alternative route that uses another station that's accessible. But it was very stressful and shows how much independence gets taken away from someone when they already have limited travel options and then have to have those taken away from them as well. For more information and content, please subscribe and follow us on our social media, link below in the description.